Hello, everybody.
2 minutes until showtime.
Welcome into our pre-show for the new week. It is leap year, the February the 29th. And here we are on the February 29th. We have a terrific show planned for you. In the second hour, we're going to be doing computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. And then the first hour, we're going to be talking about voice over IP technology, VoIP. Traditional landline phones are basically going away. So many of you out there don't even have a landline phone anymore. You have a cell phone, or you may want to explore the possibilities of voice over IP. netTALK is here. They have been on the show before, and we're going to be talking to them. They have some new products, new things that they have just announced. Nelson Hudas is going to be joining us. He is with netTALK. He's actually the public relations representative for netTALK. And
1 minute until showtime.
We're going to be talking about their Connect system. These are apps that do all kinds of really cool things. So sit back, relax, as we do 2 hours of Computer America coming straight at you right here. Hope all of you had a wonderful weekend, too. Let's see. Any good movies come out this weekend?
The Oscars premiered.
The Oscars, yeah.
I hear people have Oscar parties.
Yes, okay. We weren't invited, though. Not sure why.
Not to every one of them.
Maybe just a few. I did turn that one with Leonardo DiCaprio. We got invited, but
yeah, I thought that'd be a snooze fest. He never wins.
Yeah, I know. Well, he must be happy.
He wants to be there to watch a broken man.
All right, 10 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And hopefully all of you had a wonderful weekend. And we are here at a brand fresh new Monday afternoon. And, of course, it only comes once every fourth year. Once every 4 years. Leap Day. It's February the 29th. And hope all of you had a wonderful weekend.
It's like a free day. It's awesome.
It is. We get an extra day in February. Who knew? An extra day to feed the dogs and mow the lawn and and other things. But, you know, it is a free day, an extra day. And we have a terrific show planned for you, as always, here in the pre-minute. Now, in the second hour, we're going to be doing computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, we're going to be taking a closer look at the technology known as voice over IP, or VoIP. And I have to tell you, people having landlines today, it's kind of fading away. Less and less.
It's not too uncommon to say, hey, do you have a landline at home? And they're like, at home? No, I have to go all the way to the office to get one of those.
And even in the office, they might not have it. We're seeing more and more people just use their cell phones as the standard telephone, or voice over IP technology. That's becoming very popular because the cost of voice over IP is little to none. Because it requires you to already have something you already have, and that is your internet connection. It works over your internet connection, and it allows you to, in many cases, with the proper device, make very low cost or even free telephone calls. That's right. And we're going to be talking to one of the players in the voice over IP market. netTALK is here. And we're going to be talking to Nelson Hudas, who is the public relations representative for netTALK. Nat Nelson's been on the show before a number of times, and we have him back on today's program. If you have a comment or question about anything, especially today on Voice over IP, give us a call at 347-884 8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. If you don't want to go on the air, but you still have a question for us, just head over to our website, computeramerica.com. In the upper right-hand corner of any page there at computeramerica.com, it'll say submit a question. Just click it. It's a link. It'll take you to our question submission page. You type in your question, hit the submit button, and Ben and I will see your question immediately. And we can pose that question on your behalf to our guests, or if it's a comment or a suggestion, we'll act accordingly on it. The other thing you can do is you can also watch the Computer America show. We are a radio broadcast, but also we provide live video streaming of our show. If you're listening to us live, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, you can not only listen to us, but you can also watch us. Okay? And the way you do that is, again, you go to any page at computeramerica.com. It's the menu bar there. It'll say Show Lounge. Just click it, and you'll instantly be teleported to our live video streaming page. You will be automatically joined to the show already in progress, and you can not only listen to the show, but you can watch the show. You can see myself, you can see Ben, you can see our guest today. And not only that, Ben has the really cool technology to be able to display websites, videos, movies, anything in the background, so you can not only
Beautiful people. Oh no, wait, that's just a webcam. Oh.
not only can you hear what we're talking about, you can also watch and what we're talking about here on the show. So now, of course, if you're everything we need to do here, or everything you need to know about Computer America, is at computeramerica.com, which is the internet home of our radio broadcasts. All right, so Ben, before we get started, anything else you want to talk about or mention to our listeners?
No. Hopefully everyone caught the Oscars. There's a lot of buzz about the winners this year, and congratulations to all of them, because an entire industry patting themselves on the back is something that you need to also extend a hand out and say congratulations to. But yeah, hopefully all of you had a good weekend and are enjoying this extra Monday that was given on to us. And yeah, I think we should jump right into the first hour.
Okay, well, let's do it. Now, as I mentioned before, we here at Computer America, we're really big on voice over IP technology, or VoIP. I mean, why give your money away to a phone company when you really don't have to do that anymore? netTALK is a little add-on device that lets you make free long-distance phone calls, literally. They offer a full-featured phone list, including call forwarding, call waiting, caller ID, visual voicemail. It's fax-friendly, has voicemail to email. It can conference bridge. It has E911, and has connectivity through Wi-Fi now. So basically, it'll even work with or without a computer. That's their latest device that they introduced a little while ago. So you can have it next to your bed or in the middle of a room. It doesn't matter now that it connects via your Wi-Fi network. They have a model that will do that, and we'll talk about that too. And also today we're going to be talking about netTALK's newest feature, the Connect messaging and Connect Talk apps that they've just recently introduced. So back with us is Nelson Hudis. Nelson is netTALK's public relations representative. Nelson, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show, Craig, and hello to you too, Ben.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Now you've been with us for quite some time, and there are a number of voice over IP products out there, and ranging in all different types of costs and prices. One of the things that I really like about the netTALK, first of all, it's really small. If you go to the netTALK website, you'll see it's a little tiny thing.
I can show you how small it is.
Yeah, you can hold it up if you want to.
Right there.
There it is. See, okay, a small little thing, and it plugs right into now. And there are different models, and we'll talk about the different versions. But basically, the way it works is that you get a dial tone when you pick up your phone, and you just connect it to the different ways of connecting. I'm going to talk pretty much about the netTALK Duo Wi-Fi, and the netTALK Duo Wi-Fi basically connects to your internet connection, and then you take an ordinary telephone and you can plug it into the netTALK, and you just plug the netTALK into the wall for AC power, and when you pick up the phone, you hear a dial tone. It's just that simple. It's an amazing product, and it does it so very well. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about netTALK and the products, and then we'll get into some of the specifics. But as the PR representative, why don't you tell our how long has netTALK been around, Nelson?
They started in 2008, and they've got 3 different devices now. They've got the netTALK Duo, which was the original device, the Duo 2, and the Duo Wi-Fi, which is basically, as you said, Craig, it's the flagship device because it not only works by plugging into your computer or your router, but you can actually load your Wi-Fi settings into it and plug it in anywhere in your house, and you don't need to plug it into your router. So that's kind of unique. That's pretty much very unique, and some of the other competitors don't have that feature.
Yeah, I know, or they're scrambling to try to get it because it really, to me, I remember when it came out, it kind of blew me away because before you had to be near your computer. You had to be near so if your computer was in your office and you wanted to have a telephone by your bed connected, well, that was a little kind of tough to do. But now with the netTALK Duo Wi-Fi, you can literally have it next to your bed. It can be in the middle of the room. It can be, you don't even need a computer.
Well, your router could be in your office, somewhere else in the house, or in a living room or a basement, and you can plug your Duo Wi-Fi, as you said, into your in your bedroom or your living room or your dining room or wherever you like.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: why do people continue to have landlines?
That's a great question. I don't understand it. More and more people are moving to this product, and they should, and they shouldn't be paying the monthly fees for landlines. There's no reason to. You pay 1-year fee and a renewal fee, and you're done. And you get calling across North America, USA and Canada, and it's all included. No monthly fees and no long-distance fees.
So if let's say if I get a netTALK Duo Wi-Fi and in the box, that comes with what, 1 year's worth of service?
Actually, they have changed the way they're selling it in the U.S. They are now selling. The Duo sells for 3 months of service at $14.95, and then there's a renewal. And the Duo Wi-Fi is also selling with 3 months of service for $19.99. The Duo at $14.95. The Duo 2 isn't sold in the U.S. anymore, but it is sold in Canada. So
Okay.
They're selling 3 months and then a renewal for a year.
Okay, but it comes with 3 months. And that's 3 months to show you how easy it is. And then what's the renewal for a year? What is the cost?
The renewal is about $49. Yeah, $49 in the U.S.
And that's for a year of free phone calls.
That's correct.
It could be local calls. It could be long distance calls in the United States. I know there are other packages that you can get, but basically, once you do it every year, once a year, the calls are then in that period are completely free. And typically, a landline, you can pay $30 to $40 to $50 in the first month, just with and that's usually without all the features that you get within them, because I mentioned some of them: call waiting, call forwarding, visual voicemail. We'll talk about some of the features the telephone features that come with these devices.
Well, like you said, call waiting, call forwarding, call answer. Voicemail to email is something really great because you can, if a call comes in on your Duo Wi-Fi or your Duo at home and you're not there to get the message, we take your email address and it will instantly send an email to your smartphone, and that email will have an attachment, and you can listen to the message right on your phone rather than waiting to get home.
So
and you don't have to dial in any special numbers to get your message.
So the audio file of the message is already there. I mean, it looks to me, and I know this, that you can do things with the netTALK that you can't do with a landline. They offer features that you can't even get.
That's totally correct.
So it's far more versatile. cost a fraction. And once you buy the unit, you have the unit, and then it's just the yearly update, which is like $49, as you say, and for all the phone calls that you'd like to make, and there's no charges. Now, are there any hidden fees or taxes involved with this?
No, just when you buy it at retail, whatever the tax rate is, whatever you buy, and that's it. There's no hidden fees whatsoever.
Okay. So,
And I guess the other obvious question is, U.S. and Canada, we talk about them, but what would someone need to actually use this? We've already mentioned obviously a router or a computer and a solid internet connection. Like, what are the what are the base requirements for
When you say
purchasing this?
when you say a solid internet connection, you obviously need high speed, and that's
Okay.
that's pretty standard these days.
yeah, that's right.
I mean, I don't know anybody these days that has dial-up anymore.
For sure.
And that's all you need. You need just a standard internet connection, because voice over IP takes very little bandwidth.
That's it. It's all plug and play, so
Yeah,
it's very easy to set up.
And I'm sure that some people have tried it. You actually mentioned that you guys started back in 2008. In 2008, the average internet speed was like, maybe 10 or maybe 5 to 10 megabits per second. If you were lucky, and that was considered high speed. Dial or DSL was still pretty popular, I think, with like 3 or 5. But nowadays, the average is what, 12, 15, 18 megabits per second. I mean, the better internet that just everyone seems to be getting, year over year, must be really, a boost to netTALK, because stronger voice calling.
Right, and I think I misspoke. Actually, the renewal is $39.95 after the 1 year. Sorry about that.
Less. I thought it was a bit high. Yeah. So 39.
I did make an error on that. Apologize to your viewers.
So it's $39.95 for the year of making free long distance calls. Tell us a bit about what is the network behind the netTALK service? Can you tell us a little about that?
The network? Are you talking about our new services?
No. I mean, basically, there's the network behind it. I mean, it's netTALK's own service.
Yeah, it's netTALK's own service and servers, etc., etc. Yes.
Okay. So now, if I decide to travel, could I take the netTALK with me, and would the phone calls follow me around no matter where I go?
Absolutely. You could take it with you in a hotel if you like. Plug it into your laptop, or if you don't want to plug it into the laptop, if you know the Wi-Fi settings, you could put it in a different part of the room. But in most cases, you'd plug it into your laptop, and you'd hook it up and plug a phone into it, and you could dial away on it, and you would receive phone calls. You'd get messages. Yes, it would follow you around exactly like you said, Craig.
So in other words, I only need one phone number. I can give that phone number. It's the same phone number, and then I can give it out, and no matter where I'm traveling, that phone number is going to follow me around, and my phone will ring just as if I were at home or wherever it is. And the person on the other won't even realize that, right? They'll just...
That's right. Even if you're overseas, it'll ring overseas. It'll think it's in the United States or Canada.
All right, and we're going to get that in a minute. So they can ring us. Now, do I need to bring a telephone handset, or can I just use what do I use if I'm in a hotel room? Can I? What do I plug into the net?
You could bring a portable phone with you if you like.
Just bring a little portable phone with me, and the netTALK, it's small enough, and then everybody could, no matter where I am, it falls around, which I think is
because it's so, fits in your shirt pocket.
Now you mentioned here, you can travel to Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. Will this work in those locations, or will something change, or what?
No, it'll work anywhere.
Really?
Yep.
That's right. So basically, anybody can reach you with the phone anytime, anywhere you are. You just have to bring this little tiny device and a portable phone, and you are set to go. And again, it plugs in very simply. Now, when you first plug it in and you set it up, I know you get a dial tone immediately, but how do I go pick a phone number? I mean, what's the process there? How do I select a number?
So you start you buy it at retail. You open up the package. You go online, you register your account with your username, password, you pick one, you put in your address and all that, and then it'll take you through the steps. It'll ask you to pick where you'd like your phone number, what state, what city, what prefix, and then it'll pick the last four numbers for you, and then once you've done all of that, it'll assign that phone number to your device. And then once you tell it to go ahead and do that, the number will be assigned to your device, and then you have a phone number.
That is so cool. So I could assign myself to a city, my phone to a city that I've never been to. I mean, if I for some reason
you could, but I don't know why you'd want to do that.
no, but let's say if I want, I've never been to Duluth, but I want my phone number to be in Duluth. I can, and then people say, well, why are you in Duluth? Well, I just like the phone number, because area codes really today it used to be significant, but now with cell phones and everything, you don't necessarily have to be where where the area code is.
Yeah, I could have a Florida number here in my office or a New York number, and nobody would know the difference.
Right, exactly, and so that's some of the really cool things you can do with this. And again, and once you get it in the box, you order it, you plug it in, and you just follow the little instructions on the website, and then you hear a dial tone, and that number is now yours. Now you can, it gives you somewhat of a choice for phone numbers. But what if I already have a landline number? Let's say I've had another number, let's say for 10 years or 20 years, and it's my number, and I've given it out, and I really don't want to change it. Will netTALK allow me to port that number over to it?
Absolutely. You can go through. There's a spot on the website where you can check to see if your number is portable. You can punch in the first three, the area code and the first three digits, and it'll tell you whether or not you can port that number. And if you get a congratulations message that you can start the paperwork to do so.
How complex is it? I know it's fairly simple, but tell us the process. I mean, how long does it actually take to transfer my number over?
It can take anywhere from 3 days to a week or a couple of weeks. It just depends how backed up, I guess, they are. But it's usually pretty simple. Once you fill out all that paperwork, netTALK will take care of it for you, and then you'll get an email telling you that the port process is complete, and that your number that used to be with your standard telco company is now in your device and working on your device.
All right, and it's just that simple. So really nothing to be concerned about, and it just basically it's a very simple process. And if you want to port over a number, most numbers I found that are portable. You can port them over. I've very few that I've seen that are not able to be ported, and and I understand netTALK handles most of that for you. I mean, they do most of the work. You really don't have to do anything. You just go in, you fill it out, and submit it. And now, until that's submitted, you have a temporary number they give you, right, or the number that they first assign you to.
That's right, and you can I think you can, even if you want, you can keep that number, but because it is possible to put a couple of different numbers on your device.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, once it's completed, the number that you had will be on your device and working on your device, and as long as it's plugged in to your router or through Wi-Fi, somebody calling you would never know the difference.
That's amazing. That's very, very cool. And is there any reason for someone not to do this? I mean, I can't think of any, but
there's no reason for anybody not to do it. I guess the only thing is that anybody who hasn't done it might fear the unknown, something new. It might not, it might not work. That's what they might think. If they've got a friend maybe that's had it, they could test it out, test out their friends, or even they could go buy one, plug it in, try it for a while, use it as a second line, and if they're happy with it, then they could go ahead and port their number if they want to, or if they don't, they can just use it as a second line.
Okay, so in other words, you don't have to port your number immediately. You can take your time and use the number that gets assigned to you that you pick, and then from that point you say, okay, I really like this. Well, what they could do is they could forward the number to the NetTalk, but then you're still paying landline, the phone company, and the
That's
whole
right.
idea here is to wean you off of that.
That's right, and that's why the 3 months is a good testing time. So it gives somebody a lot of time to really test it out and get to know it and get to feel very, very comfortable with it. And once they are, then they can make the decision to port or not to port.
Right, to port or not to port? That's the question. Okay, so
Hopefully they'll port.
Right, and okay, well, here's some for me because I have a lot of friends, all varying degrees of college age, young, blah blah. They all have cell phones and landlines. They haven't had to deal with those since the days of the modem and the router and the 56K, and it was awful. But let's say that someone gets by, or at least they handle everything that they need to from their cell phone. Could you provide maybe a use case that would kind of get them interested in saying, oh, well, maybe that would be a good idea to have a dedicated NetTalk for?
Well, if they only have a certain number of minutes on their cell phone per month or per year, and they don't want to exceed that, this is ideal for them because they could pick up you plug one of our devices in and not be worried about going over their minutes. So that's the best way I can describe it, Ben.
All right. Yeah, and I guess there's also some value in kids going away to college because I know that when I went away to college, my parents were trying to reach me, all hours of the day. They assume that I just fall over dead whenever I'm not in sight. But yeah, and would this work in a college setting? Because I know that network congestion on some campuses can be a problem, or even hotspots like for other people, hotspots in like let's say Starbucks or something. I mean, when a lot of people use one network, you get this huge congestion. Would NetTalk work?
Absolutely will work. Some colleges and universities might frown on it simply because of the traffic, but when it's not busy, it'll work like a charm. There shouldn't be any problem at all.
Yeah, and the data usage is small. We're not talking video here, which it takes up a lot more, but audio takes up very, very little.
It's totally minuscule in comparison.
Yes, it is very minuscule. Okay, so that's the basic concept about the NetTalk. So, and again, you really should check out the website, which is nettalk, nettalk.com, or head over to our website at computeramerica.com. Right there on our homepage, we have a link to the NetTalk website. So let's talk about what's new, what's happening. And now you have something called Connect on 4G.
Yeah, that's the newest thing. That's really, really new, and it's really cool. It's one plan, one price, no contract. It includes unlimited talk, text, and data for $40 a month. No additional taxes, no additional fees. In the United States, when traveling to Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico, up to the first 10 gigabytes of data at 4G LTE speeds in Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. And it's, as I said, $40 a month, no hidden fees or taxes.
So how does one connect on 4G? What's the process?
Well, it's just you buy the service and you use the network that we're using, which is T-Mobile in the U.S. and Bell and Rogers and Telus in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that happens. What you set it up with NetTalk, and they just convert that, and you're set ready to go. I mean, how does
that's it?
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's easy as pie.
Now there are a couple of apps that are involved here. I think there's a messaging app. Let's talk a little bit about. Tell us a little bit more about the Connect messaging app.
Okay, well, the Connect messaging app, it's a secure messaging app with many, many, many cool features. In a nutshell, the Connect messaging app, it's a private, secure, and fully encrypted instant messaging app with built-in VPN for added security.
So how does it work?
Well, the VPN provides an additional level of privacy and security. In addition to the encrypted messaging, it re-encrypts your messages and sends the data through a secure private tunnel with end-to-end encryption. It works just like a proxy, but even more secure. So you download the app for free on your smartphone.
Okay, so why don't you tell our listeners?
And real quick, is it from is it like a self-contained app, or can it go from the app to a phone number? Like, would they need to get the app as well for to use it?
I'm not sure I
Would
understand. I'm not sure I
sure.
understand the question.
Like, let's see. Would you need to get like the messaging app on your phone, the app, and then the other person would also have to get the app, or could you like text, just a basic phone number, and they would get a text?
No, you could do it provides low-cost calling around the globe, enabling you to make calls via your mobile phone, via Wi-Fi, LTE, 3G, 4G connection, without roaming charges. It's available on iOS and Android.
Okay, so you mentioned a VPN. A VPN is a virtual private network. Why don't you tell us a little bit about why that's important and why it uses that and how that kind
Well,
of...
it provides, Craig, basically an additional level of privacy and security in addition to the encrypted messaging. Like I said, it re-encrypts your messages and it sends it through privately and in a private, secure tunnel with end-to-end encryption. So it works just like a proxy, but even more secure. So you really don't have to worry about anything. Your messages are so secure, and some people that's a big issue for.
Really, I would think so. All right, well, I have a lot more questions here, but I see we're up against the bottom of the hour break. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Connect messaging app, and also there's a Connect Talk app, and we'll talk about those as well. Again, these are two new apps that are available from netTALK. netTALK, again, is a service, a voice over IP service that provides you the hardware and the way for you to make free long-distance phone calls, whether it's across the street or across the block or around the world. And we'll get into more of this as we continue. But as I said, we're at the bottom of the hour break. We have a brand spanking new Sips review from Marty Winston coming up. He's going to be talking about the Meade Light Bridge. That sounds interesting. And then we'll be back. We've got lots more coming up. You're listening to the Computer America Show. netTALK is our guest this hour. We'll be right back with them right after this.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Okay, who ordered the Chambord milkshake? Marty Winston with the News Tips Bullet Review for Computer America. This time, the Meade Light Bridge Mini 130 Telescope. We all start by hoping to catch a glimpse of the Enterprise or the TARDIS, but not the Death Star. Then we're surprised by seeing the rings of Saturn or the moons of Mars. We had to say yes when Meade offered a new Lightbridge Mini 130 reflecting Dobsonian telescope to review. This is a bigger barrel scope. The 5.1-inch diameter barrel points its big reflector to a patch of sky. An angled reflector sends that image to an adjustable eyepiece. Comes with two. And we found the whole thing a lot easier to use than traditional two-lens scopes. Bonus, it includes a laser red dot sight. Once calibrated, the place where you see the red dot in the sight's viewfinder is the piece of sky the scope sees. Bottom line, the new Meade Lightbridge Mini 130 reflecting Dobsonian telescope delivers the heavens. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show, and thank you, Marty Winston, for that news bulletin review. We have definitely had telescopes in the past, and it's very, very cool to see how technology has turned something that is pretty, basic. It goes back thousands of years, but then, I wouldn't say that it's, the hardest thing to use, but at the same time, knowing what you're looking at can be very hard. That takes lots of learning and probably someone guiding you and just a lot of research. But with technology, it seems to be going very, very simply. That he's talking about that telescope, and I really like how it shows in a laser exactly what you're looking at up in the night sky. That's cool.
That is very cool. Did you say
that sounds like a cool product?
Did you say the telescope's been around for thousands of years?
Yeah.
Hundreds of years.
No, thousands. No. The ancient Greeks had one. I know this. They had one.
All right.
Now I have to look up the history of the telescope because you second guess me.
But not with lasers.
And I've got to get it from Wikipedia too because that's where you get all the factual information.
That's right.
Yeah, but while I look that up, we are back. In the first hour we were talking with netTALK, Mr. Nelson Hudis, and yeah, we're talking all about their latest product and how they're starting to utilize 3G, 4G, and all that kind of stuff. With these new apps, and I believe we were just about to get into the messaging app,
right?
Which is now part of this because with new technology, with fast internet speeds, you guys were able to shake up the market of traditional landlines, and I guess as the internet infrastructure kind of broadens, I guess that leaves room for netTALK to start turning itself into more than just a one telephone service, and I guess that's what your messaging app is. So, how are people liking it?
Oh, they love it. I mean, it's great. They can do lots of different things with it. With the Connect messaging app, they can get worldwide VPN messaging, which is free and private, secure, and encrypted app-to-app messaging. There's secure push notifications, private conversations, emergency keywords, multimedia, walking and texting. There's just tons and tons and tons of features that everybody just loves.
And again, it's easy to use. And now, how do I? It's just an app that I download. Does it work for Android or iOS? What is it?
Yeah. You just get them off the app stores. You just go to the netTALK website, nettalk.com or nettalk.ca, and you can find all the information you need there on how to do the downloads and put it on your phone.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, what is the messaging app? Is there a cost associated to that? And
No, it's free.
Free. Wow.
Best price in the whole world, right?
Yeah. Wow. So it's a free app. And
does that need to be tied in with like the serial number maybe from your netTALK or your plan or anything like that? Like is it tied in any way with the little netTALK Duo?
It can be tied into you can also go mobile with your Duo. You can message and talk using your Duo phone number while on the go as well. So that's another feature that we didn't talk about. Yeah, so you can I guess sync it.
Very cool.
It is cool. Everything we do is cool. We're the coolest company around.
Yeah, exactly.
Take that, Apple.
Now, and it works again on the 4G service as well.
Well, that's actually more about our Talk app. You might mixing them up a little bit. But our netTALK app provides low-cost calling around the world. You can make calls via your mobile phones, Wi-Fi, LTE, 3G, 4G connection without roaming charges, and that also is available on iOS and Android. And you can also earn free and unlimited international talk credits by interacting with our partner offers and watching short videos from our partners. You can also enjoy unlimited free calling around the world when you call another netTALK Connect subscriber anywhere in the world.
Okay, now,
Yep.
stop there.
Okay.
Because it seems to me that you have adopted one of the basic inherent features of netTALK, and that was, which kind of blew me away, is the idea if two people have a netTALK, and one person takes that netTALK halfway around the globe, it doesn't matter, and they have an internet connection, and I have my netTALK, and I call that netTALK with my netTALK, there's no charge.
That's right. It's a duo-to-duo call.
And duo-to-duo calls are completely free?
Absolutely free.
Okay. So the netTALK app follows a similar process? If a Connect app to another Connect app, how does it work?
Yeah, you can enjoy unlimited free calling around the world when you call another netTALK Connect subscriber. Yes.
Wow.
So it's really cool.
So now, can you manage all these products and services from one place? And how do you do that?
How do you mean?
Well, I'm reading question 11. Can you manage all that?
Is there like a maybe a website you go to with an account and everything inside of it, or is the app self-contained?
You can manage everything from one place. Yep, absolutely. It's real easy. So yeah, you can go online and do it there.
You can manage all of your netTALK products from the one website. Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you go on the website and go to the login, there's everything is in one place.
Okay. All right. So again, we're talking to Nelson Hudis, netTALK's public relations representative, and now these two new Connect products, these are the two latest versions that you have, and they all work with the 4G service, and they allow to do messaging and talking. The messaging app is completely free, and the ability to make send message and receive messages is completely free as well, if you're using the Connect app. So, anything else you want to tell us before about the Connect products before we move on to the other?
Well, like I said, they've got lots and lots of great features. Everybody can go online and see it. There's no reason in the world, excuse me, not to download them and use them, because it'll really make everybody's life a whole lot simpler, and that's what it's all about. So I encourage all your viewers and your listeners to do that.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about the netTALK itself. Now, you've been around for some time. I assume everything is working well with netTALK. I know for a while there was an issue, because you have a Canadian version and a U.S. version. Do you still have two separate versions, or can?
Well, they can get Canadian numbers in Canada. You order them off the website. There was a little issue about a month ago, but it's been totally resolved, and there's no problems at all in Canada now.
Okay, excellent. So then it all works as it's supposed to be. So and again, there are 3 different netTALK products, and they are the netTALK, the netTALK Duo, and the netTALK Duo Wi-Fi. Is that correct?
The Duo 2, and the Duo Wi-Fi, and the flagship product is the Wi-Fi because of its versatility and being able to connect, plug into your computer, your router, or not plugging into anything and just putting your Wi-Fi settings into the device and plugging it anywhere in your house.
And although that came later on, that was one of the last ones, that still has become your flagship product, because I've always recommended to people, if you're going to get one of these, you might as well get the Wi-Fi version, because it truly severs like the last wired connection. It liberates you from your computer. You don't have to be anywhere near your computer. Your phone doesn't have to be anywhere near your computer. All you need basically is an AC, your phone, and a place to plug the netTALK Dual Wi-Fi into the wall for power.
Yeah, setup's really easy. It's all plug and play. Also, there's lots of different setups you could do. You could go out and buy a cordless base station with three or four or five expandable handsets, and you could plug that into it. You could put handsets all around the house and be able to access the line from anywhere in your house. So it's really unique. It's versatile. It's user friendly. There's no reason in the world, like we said before, to pay monthly landline fees, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful product.
Excellent. So, talk to me a little bit about are there any calling plans? I mean, with NetTalk that are available at this.
There are calling plans. We have North American add-on. We have the basic, as everybody knows. There's the international for $130 a year. There's a North American add-on which gets you a bunch of more countries, and they keep the costs really, really down. And if you want to call other countries as well, there's a list on the website of other countries that you can call and what the low fees are, how much they are, to call the various countries per minute, and you can access that and figure out. You can do an add-on to that. You can add international minutes onto your phone line on your NetTalk Duo or Duo Wi-Fi, so that if you want to call some of those other countries, you just once you've added that, you just pick up the phone and dial it, and the amount in terms of cents or dollars or however much you use will be deducted from your international calling plan.
Cool. Now, Ben, I understand we have a question from one of our callers that submitted a question.
Well, actually not a caller. Through our submit a comment, question, whatever form we have up on the site, and and Mr. Rover,
right.
long-time listener.
Yeah. He asked the question. He says,
it's more of a comment, but
okay. Okay. Well, he says, I had the first edition of the NetTalk Duo at the time. Another product, and he says he's enjoyed the service for the year and has had no issues with it. So unsolicited testimonial.
Wonderful.
Someone chirping and said that they liked it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to hear it.
There it is. Yeah.
Thanks, Rover.
Thank you, Rover, for that information. So tell us now. So we talked about the calling plans. You also have some. Will this work, let's say, over a hotspot? You mentioned a college campus or a cafe internet connection.
I think we already covered that one though.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. You can use it on that as well, and you can store a bunch of different. I think it takes up to 10 different Wi-Fi settings, so you could store into the Duo Wi-Fi device.
All right, so if I go to a new place, it will display the Wi-Fi that are available in the area. You select one, hopefully one that's not locked, or if it's a free hotspot, and you can.
Right, and if it is locked, all you need to do is just get the password information and store it in.
Right, exactly.
And there's instructions on the website that can tell you how to do that.
Exactly. All right. So anything else that you want to tell us about the Duo? I think we've the NetTalk. We've covered most everything here. I know again that it is inexpensive. It's $39.95 for a year's worth of service. Most all of them come with 3 months worth of service that you can get, so you can get yourself set up. You can port your number over if you want to. So you have an existing phone number and you want to keep that. You can port the number over. You can keep the other number so you can have a second backup number. I mean, they really talk to me a little bit about 911.
Okay, 911.
If I'm, let's say I'm not at home and I travel to another state or another place and I have an emergency, like how does that work with NetTalk?
Okay, so when you're setting up your account, it'll ask you to put in your address when you're first setting it up, and it'll also ask you for an E911 address. So that address will get saved into your account, and if you ever have to use 911 for an emergency, you pick up the phone and dial 911 and tell them you've got an emergency and whatever it is, and it'll know that it's coming from a VoIP device, and it'll go by the E911 address that you gave netTALK when you originally set up your account. If you go somewhere else and take your device with you and call 911 on that device, let's say you're on holidays, it'll still go by the address that you entered into your account. So if you're moving around, you'd probably have to change the E911 address, which is not your account address, but your E911 address, which is different. You probably wouldn't want to do that. You'd probably want to, if you're in a hotel, you'd probably want to pick up the hotel phone and dial 911. But you could theoretically go into your account every time you moved around and changed it, but it wouldn't. It's probably not something you want to
do. Okay, but it does keep track of where you, in other words, where you are, in case you're in trouble, if you need that.
Well, like I said, if you're somewhere else, if you go on vacation, let's say you're in New York and you go on vacation to Toronto, or you go on vacation to Miami, and you take the device with you and you call 911 on that device, the 911 operator will know that will not know you're in Miami. Will send you an ambulance in New York because that address you entered when you set up your account was based in New York.
And that's an important thing for you to keep track of, to make sure. So you can change your location if you decide to, but it's probably not a good idea to keep changing the address, I would think.
No, but on the other hand, if you're a snowbird and you're not, you want to use that as your main line and take it with you when you're moving around, it's real simple. You would just go into your account and change the address for 4 or 5 months when you're escaping the winter, and put the Miami address into your account so that when you do pick up the phone, if you need 911, they will send you somebody, an ambulance, to your 911 address, which is now in Miami.
Excellent. All right. So, is there anything else you would like to tell us, our listeners, about netTALK today? We covered.
Well, the other thing that I can tell you about it is that what's interesting about the emergency 911 stuff for Canadians is that other providers don't offer E911 in Canada. So if you're buying one of the competitors' devices, you can't get E911 in Canada, whereas if you have one of our devices, you can get true E911 in Canada. So for any Canadians considering a VoIP device, that's something very important if they are replacing their typical landline that they might want to consider, because you never know when you might have to dial 911.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, the public relations for netTALK, I know you use the netTALK and have used it for quite some time. How do you like it, as yourself personally?
It has saved me so much money you would not believe. It's been plugged into my router for years, and people tell me they can't even notice the difference in call quality. They would never even know that I'm on a VoIP device.
In some cases, it actually sounds better.
In some cases, yeah, it sounds better.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not getting those monthly fees. All the features that a normal telco company would be charging me on a monthly basis have totally disappeared. I haven't had those charges in years. And it's just wonderful to be able to save all that money.
I know that I've saved thousands over the years, thousands, not hundreds.
Yeah, Craig was one of those weird people with like more than one landline. Like he had a couple landlines and a couple other, very niche lines. But yeah, ever since Voice over IP, Craig's been a happier camper.
Yeah.
You gotta think about it for a second. If you're gonna have a phone line and you're gonna pay a telco company every year and on monthly charges, start adding up what it might cost you to keep that for 5 years. And then think about how much you could save in 5 years if you were on voice over internet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not only does it pay for itself, you get it back many, many times over. And
totally.
For those of you listening out there who still have a landline, you really need to consider a voice over IP, especially in this day and age with broadband being virtually everywhere today. As Ben said, no one really has dial-up much anymore, and it really does truly save you enormous amounts of money. And again, you can get something like this for a very inexpensive price, and the subscription is like $39 a year.
After the initial 3 months in the USA. In the USA, they sell them at 3-month levels, and in Canada, they're still sold for a year, and they are available online at nettalk.com or nettalk.ca.
And talk to us about the price of each of the three the netTALK models.
Okay, so I'm just getting my notes here. In the U.S., it's I believe I said it was 19. Excuse me, Craig. Yeah, the Duo sells in the U.S. with 3 months of service for $14.95. The Duo Wi-Fi in the U.S. sells for $19.99 with both with 3 months of service. The Duo 2 is not sold in the United States anymore. In Canada, the Duo sells for $59.95. The Duo 2 is sold in Canada for $44.95, and the Duo Wi-Fi is sold for $74.95. The Canadian versions all include a year, whereas the U.S. ones include 3 months.
Okay, so let me get so the Duo Wi-Fi is 19. Why am I saying 1995 on the? It's 1999.
So $19.99 with 3 months of service.
That's amazing. I mean that's like nothing. 1995 for and with 3 months of service. The Duo Wi-Fi. It doesn't even make sense to get the Duo. I mean, get the Duo Wi-Fi because you just have that additional flexibility.
And as you were saying earlier, it's for somebody who might be on the fence, about trying it. This is a great trial for 3 months only. They're not locked into a year. And then if they like it at the 3 month level and they, oh yeah, you know what, I'm saving a ton of money and I think I want to keep my number because I've had it for 20 or 25 years, that three month time period is a great test. Then they can decide that they want to port their number and then they can go ahead and do that. And so it's, and it's really easy to do.
So I know you don't like to talk about the future. No company seems to want to do that. But where do you see netTALK in the next couple of years? I mean, what do you think is next for netTALK?
I can't reveal all our secrets. You'll just have to stay tuned.
Okay. Again, you can go to the website at nettalk.com or www.nettalk.com, nettalk.com, or www.nettalk.ca if you're in Canada, and you can check out both the websites. Order one. It's certainly extremely cost savings. Get rid of your landline. You don't need it anymore. There's really no reason to have a landline anymore.
Right. And one thing I will tell you is the devices used to be available at various big box retail stores, and we've since gotten out of the retail game, and they are available online at the websites. It just makes it a lot easier for our customers to just buy it online.
Get it online. You get the latest prices. You get the latest.
Yeah, online shopping, has just become so convenient nowadays. I completely see why you've done that.
Makes a lot of sense. It does. Well, Nelson, I want to thank you for being with us here on today's show. It was a lot of fun, and again, stay in touch. Keep us informed as when netTALK does come up with new products. We certainly like to talk about them, and thank you for being here on today's Computer America show.
Well, thank you again to you both for having us on. We really enjoyed our time here.
Okay, listen, you take care, and we'll be talking to you again soon. All right.
Definitely. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks.
Craig.
Have a good one.
All right.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. And there he goes. Again, Nelson Hudis, netTALK Public Relations Representative for the netTALK product. And again, I haven't had a landline now in years, and there's no reason why you should have one as well. Save yourself hundreds, even thousands of dollars over time. This thing will pay for itself, especially with that reduced price, $19.95 for a netTALK Duo Wi-Fi model with 3 months worth of service, and then $39 for a year, free, no hidden taxes, nothing, and you get free unlimited long distance calls. I can't think of a reason not for you to not do it. It's okay. All right, so we are going to segue on over to our computer and technology news. brought to you by Slimware Utilities. We've got just a minute, and then we'll get to them. Again, let me just take a moment to tell you about. Of course, we just had our social media winner of the week, which was Bruce Evans. He listened to us in Naples, Florida. He won the Logitech MX Anywhere 2 wireless mouse. And we suggest that you do that. It's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. Get it done now. Head over to computeramerica.com. Just go to on the interact menu selection on the menu bar there, and it'll say social media contests. It'll take you to the contest page. It really is simple. All you have to do is like any one of our social media services that we participate in, like Facebook, YouTube, Google Plus. They're all there, and each time you don't have to. You'll only have to do each one time. So when you go to Facebook, you like our Facebook page. That's it. You don't have to do it again. And now you have one entry a week. If you head over to the Google Plus and you follow you join it, our Computer America Google Plus page, now you have 2 entries every single week. If you head over to Twitter and you follow our Twitter feed for Computer America, now you have 3 entries every single week, so on and so forth. And so I think there's up to 5 you can do. You can have up to 5 entries every single week. You only have to do it one time, and then every week we pull a winning name to win that Logitech MX Anywhere 2 wireless mouse that works on has that dark field technology, works on glass surfaces, and it also has the easy switch technology. It's got a little button on the bottom of the mouse so you can easily switch between up to 3 different computers. You can pair up to 3 different computers and switch between them with the touch of a button. You just pair them up once and then push the button and you can
pair them up using the dongle and Bluetooth. So
yeah, exactly. So it's ambidextrous, and it's just a nice looking mouse. It's small, it's portable, and it's valued at $80, and we're giving one away every single week. And why not give it to you? All right. So head over to computeramerica.com and register for our social media contests, and who knows, it could be your name that we're calling out. All right. Coming up, we've got some interesting news stories. Raspberry Pi is in the news. Well, we have a lot of great stories here. The Army plans to have a laser weapon by 2023. I'm not talking about a laser pointer either. Get some great stories here, and you can follow along just by watching our live video stream at computeramerica.com. We're going to take a momentary break, and then we're back with Hour 2 of the Computer America Show. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at computeramerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we just had netTALK on the show. It's been a while since they were on the program. They were on like about a year and a half ago. And Nelson Hudis, the public relations representative for them, was on the program, talking about their newest Connect services. Again, if you go away with one thing from that interview, know that you don't need to pay money to a local telephone company anymore for your landline number. You don't need that anymore. With voice over IP, basically your phone calls are free. You have unlimited long distance calls from anywhere. And if you missed that show, you certainly can listen to it again. We archive all of our programs at computeramerica.com. Everything we do, as a matter of fact, is represented at our internet home for radio broadcast, computeramerica.com. Head over there. We archive our audio feeds. We archive the video as well. It's all there at computeramerica.com. Check it out. Okay. So here we are on the 29th of February, an extra Monday, gratis. Here on Leap Year, and Anything else you want to talk about, Ben, before we get started with the second hour of the show?
Anything else? No, 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 no. I think we have a lot of good news stories, and a lot of very important ones as well. But yeah, no, I say we just get right into it.
All right, well, let's do it then. Let's do some computer news. Today's Computer in America news and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Slimwareutilities.com. Check them out. We use them here at the Crossman household. They are terrific. They will make your life so much simpler using Windows 10. Again, their privacy tool is one of the best that I've seen. It configures it the way it should be configured, other than the way you get when you get it out of the box or download it. It just is a terrific product. Check them out. You'll be very happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com.
All right, so I say our first story, we're going to talk cars for a little bit because, why not shake it up by introducing one of the fastest new cars that has actually been leaked out ahead of the car convention coming out here soon.
Okay.
Yeah, and that sounds like a 1950s, 40s, 30s car. It sounds like the Roaring Twenties. The beep, beep. But this one is a little bit more powerful than that one, or at least I hope it has a better sounding horn than that. And yeah, this is coming from Ars Technica, and yeah, Bugatti. They make headlines when they release a new car, and here we have. And by the way, this I said from Ars Technica, but apparently they call their automotive division of their Cars Technica.
Cars Technica.
So yeah, very cute. But yeah, 1,479 horsepower, 261 miles an hour, and $2.6 million. The new Bugatti Chiron.
Wow, what a car! Look at that.
Which is the successor to the Veyron.
Would you
the
drive
Veyron was an incredibly powerful car, but the Chiron, oh my God! Looking at this thing, you're like, only $2.6 million. What the heck? That thing looks so much more expensive.
Yeah, take two. Exactly.
Oh, I totally would. But yeah, and so and this is of course coming from Ars Technica. And as they reported last year, the scandal plaguing Volkswagen over its emission cheating hasn't had negative consequences for the group's halo brand Bugatti. It was widely expected that the scandal and its possible $40 billion impact on the Volkswagen Group would result in the cancellation of the replacement for the Veyron. But thankfully, here comes the Chiron, which was unveiled formally to the world Monday in Geneva. By the way, yes, there was an automotive show in Geneva, named for a pre-war Monegasque racing driver. Okay, Louis Chiron. The new car will cost about $2.6 million before taxes. Yes, you have to pay taxes on $2.6 million. Of course, behind the cockpit is a reworked version of the 8L Turbo W16 engine. So 4 banks of 4 cylinders with a single crankshaft. So not a V16, but 16 cylinders. Crazy. Which all propel the all-wheel drive monster at 261 miles an hour. And for everyone here watching the video portion of the show, yeah, you can see the engine right there, and it looks like nothing I've ever seen before, so that must mean it's really, really good.
Oh my gosh.
But of course, it's no stripped-out race car, and of course, as you would expect from the Ultimate in excess, the interior is a riot of leather and machined aluminum, expected to be easy to drive at regular speeds as the old car too. It said that the Veyron was an easy drive for even one's grandmother as long as she didn't floor it. So Bugatti will build 500 Chirons on its factory in France, and apparently a third of them have already been sold. So, and of course, the author wants to drive one himself, but let's see, $2.6 million. that means that they're gunning for about $1 billion in sales just over these 500 cars.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, I mean, looking at the pictures, the interiors I think are, yeah, don't get me wrong, the exteriors of the car, it looks amazing, but the interiors are just crazy, crazy cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only people going to be driving this are like, people from Dubai, the sheiks.
No, there's 500 of them. There's 2.6. So not only are you gonna have like it's not a lot of people have $2.6 million laying around waiting for a new car, but not a lot of people have $2.6 million and are interested in high-powered cars. So they know it's a very, very small segment of the population, which is why they make 500. But those 500, they're gonna eat this up.
Oh yeah, I would think so. That they're going to go very fast. Where do you get that thing worked on? Or you got to get it repaired or get an oil change.
I've never seen a Bugatti dealership. I've seen a Ford dealership. They might be able to take it in there and see what they can do.
I think in Palm Beach, Florida, they may have a Bugatti dealership.
Yeah, no, I actually stopped at this Jiffy Lube out in South Carolina. Yeah, my timing belt actually snapped, but they were very, very good. I might have to drive it out there. And at 261 miles an hour, I think I could get there in just under 2 hours.
Yeah, pretty fast, actually. Exactly. Well, speaking about really cool cars, here's one that Ben's going to be very sad for me to read, but because up to now you've said the Google self-driving cars, there have been some accidents, but it was not the fault of the car. You always have to point that out. But evidently, according to Gadget, a Google self-driving car crashes into a bus, and evidently it may be the first instance of a Google autonomous car being at fault in an accident. Oh, yeah.
These things happen.
It does. But here you go. Again, according to the story, a Google self-driving cars have been in accidents before, but always on the receiving end. Okay, people crashed into them, right? At least until now. Now, Google has filed a California DMV accident report confirming that one of its autonomous vehicles, which was a Lexus RX 450h, collided with a bus in Mountain View, California. The crash happened when the robotic SUV had to go into the center lane to make a right turn around some sandbags. Both the vehicle and its test driver incorrectly assumed that a bus approaching from behind would slow or stop to let the car through. Well, guess what? It didn't. The Lexus smacked into the side of the bus at low speed, damaging its front fender, wheel, and sensor in the process. Now, this was a minor incident, okay? Let's be fair. It was a minor incident. And we're happy to report that there were no injuries. However, this might be the first instance where one of Google's self-driving cars caused an accident. And if so, the Mountain View crew can no longer say it's an innocent dove on the roads. While this wasn't the glitch, its software made a decision that led to a crash. And they've actually, Engadget has reached out to Google if it can elaborate on what happened.
And Google did come back with a statement, so that's a little bit further in the article.
Yes. So there is an update. Let's get to it. Google has provided Engadget with its take on the incident from its February monthly report. It sees the accident as a result of that normal part of driving where there's mutual blame. Both sides made too many assumptions. So yes, Google acknowledges that it's partly at fault for what happened. In the wake of the crash, it has already tweaked its software to accept that buses are less likely to yield and prevent issues like this in the future. Okay, now
all I got out of that is that Google just programmed their cars to think buses are not nice. Buses are mean people. They will not yield.
And they say, formally, we've now reviewed this incident and thousands of variations on it in our simulator in detail and made refinements to our software. From now on, our cars will more deeply understand that buses and other large vehicles are less likely to yield to us than other types of vehicles, and we hope to handle situations like this more gracefully in the future. So, at least it came to their attention. They knew about it and they fixed it. So hopefully it won't happen again. There it is.
Well, yeah, and there was a actually rather lengthy explanation what happened, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I said, we've now reviewed this incident in our simulator in detail and made refinements to our software.
Mhm.
So, of course, these crashes, just like most people, just like people who, drive for a while and they feel comfortable, they feel good on the road, and they, may drive at 85 miles an hour instead of 75 miles an hour, on the highway. They get comfortable, they get complacent, and then they get that speeding ticket, and then they learn from it. They stop speeding everywhere and they stop, going so fast.
Mhm.
And autonomous cars, the people designing these things, they're learning. This is still a new product, and it's good to see that they aren't just saying, well, our programming was correct, and if that bus driver had reacted like a normal human being, then our car would have been fine and it wouldn't have happened. I'm glad that they're taking away from this, that they have room to improve their software.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad to see that they have.
And it wasn't like, the Google self-driving car veered into baby traffic today and hit 15 prams, as it rode up on the sidewalk. It's nothing that severe. It was a side swipe, and, not too bad at all. So, down goes the king and saying that they've never had an accident, or at least they've never been at fault for an accident. But again, glad it was minor.
Yes, very glad.
Hopefully no one overreacts and says that Google self-driving cars or at least any self-driving cars are not safe, because I really still want them.
Absolutely.
Even if they hit buses. Okay, so next one. How about from car to car to Volvo? And you say, but Ben, 3 car stories in a row?
Yeah.
No, not quite. Volvo actually showing off their self-driving trash can.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, kind of cool. So Volvo, and this is again from Gadget, Volvo showing off a prototype of its self-emptying trash can. So Volvo's ROAR, or robot-based autonomous refuse handling project, has moved into prototype testing. The company announced earlier this week, ROAR system is designed to autonomously empty trash cans from the back of a garbage truck, saving the driver from having to manually load bins into the hopper. So, the initial concept involved just the robot, which relied on maps of the neighborhood and likely bin locations, as well as GPS, LiDAR, and accelerometers to help it navigate. We saw a little story about this, about these little autonomous robots, and their trash cans that would like kind of drive right up to the garbage truck.
Yep.
And we all had like a little laugh about it, but it's good to see that they're still planning it. So the new iteration, on the other hand, also employs an aerial drone that lifts off from the garbage truck roof to act as a pair of eyes in the sky for the ROAR, telling it where the trash cans actually are, not just where they're supposed to be.
Because as you know, and I know, as every week we take them out the garbage, we don't always put it in the same place. It might be slightly different, and so
right.
That flexibility with the drone would certainly, because that's how people use it. They can't make people conform to this thing. This thing's going to have to conform to how people empty their, put their trash out, and this is a good way to do it.
Right. So Volvo teamed up with the undergrads at 3 universities to design and construct the prototype in just 4 months. They said that we predict a future where with more automation, this project is intended to stimulate our imagination, to test new concepts that may shape transport solutions of the future. And this is research going towards what we've known for a few years now, is that automation, and automation in factories, automation in phone calls and phone banks and things like that. That's been happening for a while, but automation is going to be so far reaching that a lot of jobs are going to go away, because let's face it, if this has practical applications and it can be utilized in a lot of different areas, imagine just entire neighborhoods that would just have self-emptying garbage cans. There goes, another chunk of jobs just because.
Or the jobs will transfer from the guy who rolls the garbage pail out to the guy who flies the drone on the truck.
The drone, they said was autonomous.
Okay. So then, all right. So
And then tie that in with self-emptying garbage cans with self-driving garbage trucks, and then at some point you have 10, 15 people in an industry that can be replaced by 2 to 3 people who can manage all this autonomous robots. I mean, it's going to happen. The writing is on the wall, but I think at the end of the day, though, no one really likes dealing with stinky trash. No one really enjoys, lifting heavy pails and destroying their back just because it's a dirty job and it needs to be done. Automation can be for the good, and as much as the waving goodbye to probably well-paying jobs, yay for not having to put people in harm's way of having to deal with other people's refuse.
Yes, that's very true.
Because there's some stuff in trash that no one should touch. Use medical equipment and decaying food and things like that, stuff that get you sick or injured or worse. I mean, this is definitely a good thing.
I would agree with you. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And as when the jobs change in an industry, other jobs will.
You keep saying that. I don't know where you're imagining these jobs are going to magically pop up from.
Jobs designing these things,
how is an entire industry of trash, I'm about to say trash men, but that's politically incorrect, trash people and sorters and that kind of thing, how is all that when all that's going to be automated? How are thousands of people going to be designing one system?
They won't. No, you're right. They're going to have to find other jobs. But you make a good point that the menial jobs and the dangerous jobs really shouldn't be handled by people. And
they have in the past, just like sewer cleaners and stuff like that. It's like they have in the past because it's a dirty job. It makes society work, and someone has to do it. So unfortunately, whoever is willing to do it is paid for it. But at the end of the day, these jobs probably should not be done by people. So
okay, well, good. That is a good thing. I guess there are always ups and downs, but I think the good outweighs the bad. Now, how many times have you gone to or had a YouTube link and go to watch something that looks really cool, and then you get there at the YouTube channel and the video is gone? Well, it's frustrating, to say the least, especially if it's something that was harmless and it was taken down mistakenly. Well, evidently YouTube is, according to Engadget, is going to reduce the chances of mistaken videos being taken down. Evidently, there's a new team dedicated to avoiding copyright takedown mistakes. This again by John Fingus at Engadget. He says that YouTube has taken steps to prevent mistaken takedowns of videos. Your videos even, but that hasn't been enough for some. Okay, a rash of alleged copyright violations in recent weeks, such as Call for Duty clips, has triggered an outcry among creators who worry that YouTube is asleep at the wheel while its automated copyright system goes haywire. Thankfully, YouTube appears to be listening. So, in response to the mounting complaints, YouTube has revealed that it has created a team focused on minimizing mistakes that take video downs without a legitimate cause. It's also promising transparency when it strips videos of revenue. And there are hints of efforts in the months ahead that will strengthen communications between YouTube support and video makers.
Yeah, YouTube definitely came under fire for a couple of these takedowns because anyone could file a takedown and provide very, very little evidence. And some people, they are professional YouTubers, they are professional content creators who earn a living off of having these videos up on their channel. And things that would fall under completely fair use were unfortunately taken down out of a complaint that let's say it was a parody and the original didn't like the parody. Even though it's not really their place to say this is worthy of being up, this is not worthy of being up. YouTube and their whole quote unquote asleep at the wheel thing, yeah, YouTube was taking down videos left and right because, hey, it's on YouTube's part, better safe than sorry. Because if they tune it to aggressive, then no one can sue YouTube for allowing these things to happen. Instead, it kind of takes the burden off of YouTube because they said, hey, we've done what we should have and we were aggressive in pursuing this, but in being aggressive, there are a lot of mistakes and there are a lot of casualties, which led to the community kind of coming together and saying that YouTube, you are too trigger happy.
Mm. And although YouTube says it hasn't seen a significant boost in the number of flawed takedowns, it's clear that YouTube is trying to head off a potentially larger crisis, that being too effective. If YouTube develops a strong reputation for pulling legitimate videos and leaving creators hanging when they ask for help, its biggest stars might jump ship. What's to keep a Let's Play host from moving to Twitch, right? Or a movie critic from giving up entirely? Or there are no guarantees that YouTube's efforts are enough. Some wanted to reduce or eliminate its dependence on automated screening. YouTube knows it just can't remain idle. They do have to do something. I think having live people making just rather than trying to find some algorithm, which is iffy at best, to make these decisions, because then if they do that, then there's also an appeal process. If something gets taken off, you have somewhere to go to either appeal it or try to justify.
Well, yeah, the appeals process is infamously pretty bad because YouTube, let's face it, they have billions of videos. People upload millions of minutes of videos a day. YouTube is such a huge entity. I mean, let's face it, there's so much video on YouTube that webcams and places like that, when if they don't have their own service, you can actually choose to upload directly to YouTube on a private channel, and that's your video backup for your webcam. That's a pretty common feature. YouTube has so many videos that they have to deal with, and so many people, so many unique users, that it makes it really does make it impossible for people to say this is fair use, this is not fair use, because first of all, that's very subjective to begin with, and then when you have thousands upon thousands of complaints coming in every day, you have to automate it. You completely have to. But if anyone out there is capable of making a better AI to determine if something is a legitimate takedown order, or if something is just done because someone doesn't like it, or it was done by mistake or whatnot, then yeah, it's up to Google to design that automation. And honestly, they probably do need to beef up their appeals process, because I've definitely heard of people who have legitimate videos, and through appeals they get turned down. And when you want to, and like Craig, I know you're guilty of this. So when at the end of the day, when your video gets taken down saying that we're going to close down your whole page because you've uploaded too many videos that have been taken down, imagine, Craig, that you want to pick up the phone and call someone at YouTube. That's impossible. That is literally impossible. There is no one to talk to on a phone at YouTube. You have to do everything by email, and hopefully they get to you within a couple days. And and most of the time they just read from their prompt and they stick to whatever the automation has deemed. So it's good to see that they're definitely working on it. But it is a problem, and it's going to be a huge problem if they don't get out ahead of it.
Yep, I agree. Something does need to be done. At least they're aware of it, and they seem to be doing something about it. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, I think we have time to squeeze in this one more story before the next break, and it's about the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, delicious and nutritious, as it is 10 times more powerful and the same cost.
Wow.
And by the way, at this point, hopefully you know that we're not talking about Pi. We are talking about the all built onto one board computer. So this is the faster Raspberry Pi 3, gains Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it's still just $35.
Hmm.
So pulling this one from Max and PC, but this is one of the stories that it's been all over the web. And in celebration of its 4th birthday, the Raspberry Pi Foundation has cooked up a new version of its highly popular Raspberry Pi Mini PC with a giant assist from Broadcom. And the newly released Raspberry Pi 3 is quite the treat. It's faster than previous models, more functional, and backwards compatible. That's all too important because let's face it, releasing a new module is good and all, but this just means that you can have that any project that's already using a Raspberry Pi, you swap in this board and you throw out the other board, and it's just going to be faster, more responsive, and with more features already baked in.
You don't have to change the code, the software code.
Exactly. So the Raspberry Pi 3 is powered by Broadcom's new BCM2837 SoC. So yay! But baked inside is a 1.2 gigahertz 64-bit quad-core ARM Cortex A53 CPU. I hear that the 64-bit processor is a new feature with the Raspberry Pi 3. Yeah. Everything up until this point has been based on the 32-bit architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a pretty sweet upgrade from the from the Raspberry Pi 2. So according to the Raspberry Pi Foundation, the 33% jump in clock speed combined with the architectural improvements makes the Raspberry Pi 3 50 to 60% faster than its Raspberry Pi 2 predecessor, and about 10 times faster than the Raspberry Pi original, again, just 4 years ago.
Right.
10 times faster. So, and of course, the speed doesn't come at the cost of compatibility. And though the SoC is new, it's the same basic architecture, and so it should be compatible with most other previous models.
Wow.
And real quick, in addition to being faster, it has a wireless combo chip that gives it Wi-Fi and Bluetooth support built in.
That's nice.
Yep. So, and of course, there's all these LEDs and antennas and whatnot to make it very, very simple. But suffice to say, Raspberry Pi 3, it is now out, $35, same price as the original, and so much more versatile.
All right. Raspberry Pi users rejoice. The 3 is here. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We have another brand spanking new news test review from Marty Winston. This time he's going to talk about the Leader Lite this time. This is the Computer America Show. We got more computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. It's all coming up. Stay with us. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't poke a bear can't polka. Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time the LiDAR Sensor Evaluation Kit, one of the coolest pieces of tech we've seen in ages, using the time of flight of light to measure distances, plural. Its 16 detection segments span an arc, twin LEDs on the hardware body, which is about as big as a stack of 3 smartphones, and a lens handle the optics. The electronics get powered by a wall wart, and a USB connection lets a PC run its software. We pointed it at the ceiling and could track the blades of our ceiling fan. In demos we saw, it could identify vehicles versus pedestrians versus structures, and it seems well suited to drone sense and avoid use. Bottom line, the LiDAR Sensor Evaluation Kit dramatically demonstrates the power and potential of its ability to detect both relative position and motion for multiple targets at once using just light. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 13 minutes past the hour. We are here on, the leap day of the leap year,
Did you hear
February 29th.
Did you hear Martin his introduction? Don't poke a bear can't polka.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I heard it. I didn't want to acknowledge it, but if you're going to bring it out here, yeah, I heard it. But yeah, no. We are here in. We're just doing computer technology news, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. A lot of great stories. We just finished up the Raspberry Pi 3, which has tinkers all over the world rejoicing because it's such an easy to use and it can be used for so many different projects. And the Raspberry Pi first, when it came out 4 years ago, people were like, $35 for a PC? That's incredible. And look at everything we can do with it. And now, here, 4 years later, on the anniversary, they come out with one that is 10 times faster and has baked-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity.
Yeah.
And with all the other goodies and features that have been building over the last couple of years.
And still $35. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very cool. So, yeah, that was that story. And, Craig, I believe the next one is yours.
Yeah, and we talked about this last week. The Oculus Rift has announced that they're coming out and they're taking orders. And we had started saying that we had found that the price of the HTC Vive was going to be $799. And evidently now, according to Paul Lilly's Maximum PC, or Maximum PC's Paul Lilly, he says the HTC is starting to take pre-orders for the Vive VR headset now, and it will ship in April. Okay, so he goes on to say, after all the hype and anticipation, you can now place your pre-order for HTC's Vive headset today, just as the company had promised last week, and the cost is $799. And there's also an estimated $30 shipping charge for the orders placed in the U.S., which brings the total to $829. And what you'll get is the Vive headset, a pair of wireless controllers, which look really cool, by the way, 2 base stations, not 1, but 2, a link box, earbuds, an updated head strap with integrated phone functionality, 2 games, Job Simulator and Fantastic Contraption, and Tilt Brush by Google. Now, what's not included is the cost of a computer. Like Rift, yes, the Vive requires a fairly powerful system. Okay, and they've actually listed, if your system's going to be up to snuff.
4 i5, 4590, 4 gigs of RAM, and GTX 970 or Radeon R9 290, which is almost top of the line, and Windows 7, 8, or 10. Craig, my computer won't even handle this.
Yeah.
It's going to need a beast of a computer.
Yeah, it has to have 90 frames per second. You have to reach that to run VR content. You need at least 90 frames a second, and to run it 90 frames a second, that's what.
I can't believe all those people who are like, oh no, the human eye can't process more than 30 frames per second.
Yeah, 34 frames. Was it 36?
No, it was 30 frames per second.
Yeah, for film. Yeah, exactly.
No, film was 24.
24. Okay. So evidently, he goes on to say, "Will be interesting to see how the Vive sells in the pre-sale compared to the Rift, which is $200 cheaper. Even though the Vive costs more, the inclusion of 2 wireless controllers and room sensors add to the value of the proposition." Okay, so you are getting that, and having Valve in HTC's corner is also a major selling point too, as well. So there you go. Just remember that if you do order this, you better have a blazingly fast computer to run this thing. As with all virtual reality headsets, you need. I mean, this is really pushing the limits of personal computing. It really does. Gaming has always pushed the limits of personal computing hardware, but VR really pushes it to the limit. You really have to have a top of the line to make this stuff work.
Because it's not just like your computer isn't just rendering, what is in front of you like a picture. Whenever you play virtual reality, or whenever you're going to be playing virtual reality, it's rendering everything around you in a 360-degree sphere, and that means it has to render the physics, it has to render the graphics, it has to render the lighting, how it reflects off everything. It has to render every little detail, and not just what can be viewed on screen. So it's going to take a lot of horsepower just to make sure that your viewing experience isn't all choppy and messed up and weird and looks ugly, because again, that's going to ruin the experience as much as any gameplay could. Poor graphics in virtual reality are just going to suck you right out of it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have lag in virtual reality. You can't have any of that. Otherwise,
you can't have screen tearing. You can't have jittering. It's all bad.
Yeah, it really, you can kind of excuse it when you're playing, with a controller, and okay, you can see it. But when you're wearing a VR headset, man, you can't have that. It ruins it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, there's that, and $800, and then on top of that, another probably $1,200 to $1,400 PC.
Mm-hmm.
That's a $2,000 investment. That is in the range of a hobbyist, but not a lot of average people are going to be jumping on right away.
No. And and you can't have average computer. I mean, you can get some average computing really nice. I mean, but you can't have an average computer for this. If you want to do VR gaming, it has to be top of the line, at least for now. Maybe next couple of years it'll come down, because the top of the line will.
Well, in the next couple of years, VR is going to look even better. I mean, this is the first generation VR. So even right now, the games that are coming out for it, we've seen some tech demos, but most of them are, rather cartoony or, not too well, they aren't too refined. But 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the graphics are going to look, night and day.
Yeah, so, it's like any new technology. It has to evolve. It has to take some time to.
Like I just don't want people sitting there, thinking that, oh, well, if I just wait long enough, my computer is going to be able to run it.
Yeah.
No, your computer will always be behind until you make that investment.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, so virtual reality. Let's go on to Oh, here's one. This is creepy as a lot. This is really, really creepy. So this is coming to us from the New York Times. Yeah. And oh, whoops, wrong one. There we go. Okay, and yeah, let's talk about billboards. And this is a company that I think many of you may know. This is Clear Channel Outdoor America. Clear Channel billboards. If you look right underneath the big picture part, it says NBC billboard, Clear Channel, whatever. They have a couple of different companies out there, but Clear Channel, let's face it, as far as billboards go, they are one of the largest providers out there in the US. So here's the funny thing. So this is an article, again, New York Times, title of the article by Sydney Ember is "See That Billboard? And It May See You Too." Pass a billboard while driving in the next few months, and there's a good chance the company that owns it will know you were there and what you did afterwards. So yeah, Clear Channel Outdoor Americas has tens of thousands of billboards across the U.S. and will announce on Monday that it has partnered with several companies, including AT&T, to track people's travel patterns and behaviors through their mobile phones. So, by aggregating the trove of data from these companies, Clear Channel Outdoor hopes to provide advertisers with detailed information about the people who pass this billboard to help them plan more effective, targeted ad campaigns. And so, with the data and analytics, Clear Channel Outdoor could determine the average age and gender of the people who are seeing a particular billboard in, say, Boston at a certain time, and whether they subsequently visit a store.
So what are you saying? Are you saying here that the billboard is going to know the demographic of the person driving by it and display an appropriate ad that may be of interest to that particular person at that time?
No.
Okay.
No, what I'm saying is that through these partnerships that they're making with these different cell phone companies and different tracking companies, they are going to, Clear Channel, if you pass like a couple of them, they'll say, okay, this person passing by these billboards, they're, according to AT&T's records, they're, 30 years old and they do this and they do that. And, like they're going to build up a profile of who you are as a person based on your metadata from your cell phone that's broadcasting all the time that can be picked up by these billboards. And they're going to know if you walk into a store by tracking that same metadata, I'm sure inside these stores as well. And so what they're going to do is they're going to build up profiles of the people that pass by. So if they can say, okay, well, the majority of people who pass by this billboard are working, from 4 to 6 p.m. are rush hour. They're office workers. They're mid 30s, mid to late 30s, early 40s. And so let's say they get a client who wants to advertise business suits or something like, just something that would appeal to them, then they would target that billboard with an ad. They would then put up an ad with business suits. They're going to know which ads have the better quote unquote viewing audience for a select product. They're not going to change them, on a driver by driver basis. They're going to change them by, this billboard really doesn't get a lot of old people, so we're not going to have, retirement home retirement home or vacation home or whatever advertisements on this billboard. We're going to have it on this one over here, which has a better number of elderly people.
It's more targeted advertising. It's not targeted to an individual, but it's targeted to more of the demographic that goes by that sign more frequently.
Right. So, and they have a quote here from Clear Channel Outdoor saying that in aggregate, the data can tell you information about what the average viewer of the billboard looks like. Obviously, it's a very valuable to an advertiser. So, and they have a couple of the partners here saying that they want to collect location data from subscribers, which uses location data collection from other apps to help determine a consumer behavior, and Placed, which pays consumers for the right to track their movements and is able to link exposure to ads and store visits. All insist that they protect the privacy of the consumer. All data is anonymous and aggregated, meaning individual consumers cannot be identified. Still, Mr. Steven acknowledged that the company's new offering does sound a bit creepy. Thank you for at least acknowledging that this is creepy as heck. So, yeah. And, the article goes into old media, and, billboards are unfortunately part of that because, let's face it, who's paying attention to billboards nowadays when you have satellite radio in your car? Like, you're not even really paying attention to the world around you, hopefully just the road in front of you. So, and, it kind of goes on and on and on. But suffice to say, Clear Channel Outdoor will offer radar in its top 11 markets, including Los Angeles and New York, starting Monday, with plans to make it available across the country later this year. So it's going for a trial, but it's probably going to roll out everywhere. And yet another privacy thing. If you're one of those people that really, really, really values privacy, maybe even overly, hey, might be time to turn off your cell phone whenever you're driving down the highway.
Yeah, people aren't going to do that. No, they're not.
I'm just saying.
Maybe they'll have like how we have an airplane mode, right now in the phones. Maybe they'll have a highway mode that will turn off certain when you're driving, rather than having you turn your cell phone off completely.
Either way, I mean, it's technically information that probably could have been collected from a couple different ways. Whenever your cell phone uses data and pings off of a wireless or a cell carrier, 4G, 3G, what have you, and pings off the different tower, like they could probably track you in a number of ways. This is just advertisers tracking the people. And again, I probably believe them because they really have they have nothing to gain by knowing exactly what this person and their name and their entire background. They just want to know the generals of the populace that drive by their billboards.
Yeah.
But it's creepy. It's unequivocally creepy.
Yes, it is. I agree with you. Yeah, I have a question for you. Would you pay $10,000 for a meatball?
What kind of meat? I mean, are we talking human?
Yeah.
As
Now, we're talking about lab-grown beef, and that Newsweek says it will be saving the planet and will be $1 billion business. But right now, it's $18,000 a pound. So obviously this meat isn't going to make it to your table, in the immediate future. But basically, it's cultured meat, and we have said that it's going to, change the world as we know it. It's certainly in its infancy because no one's going to spend $18,000 a pound for beef going to the local market. Prices will come down, of course, but in a few years, they're basically saying it could change the world. And we don't have much time to get into this. This is a very long story. I just thought I would tease it. But the story that I do want to do is from Engadget, and this is kind of useful. And this is Google. Is Google Maps really good map? I mean, I have both Google Maps and Apple Maps on my iPhone because they're sort of head on head. They really do extremely good job. But evidently, Google Maps is adding its pit stop feature on iOS. So basically, this is nice. So back in October, the Google Maps rolled out a new feature for finding pit stops on your route for Android phones. Well, evidently, this handy tool is making its way to the iOS version of the app. So if you missed the news the first time around, the feature allows you to add a detour to your road trip without leaving navigation mode. This is an incredibly useful feature. I had this originally on my car navigator, and then it disappeared for a while. But this is you can actually take a little side trip without leaving the navigation mode. Basically, you tap the magnifying glass in the top right corner, and you'll be given a list of options like gas stations, restaurants, and more. If you need to search for something else, you'll be able to do so. You can also use voice search to find specific places or another category, so you don't have to futz with your phone too much when you're driving. But no matter how you access them, search results will always display the average rating for the destination and how much time the stop will add to your trip. This is a really nice feature. The pit stop feature is rolling out to iOS users starting today, so you should be able to use it soon. I can't remember what they used to call it. They didn't call it pit stop on the Garmin navigator they had, but it it wasn't detour. It was something else where you could add, it was a trip tick. I think it was a trip tick. You could add another stop to the destination, and it would take you there. It'd add the time to it, and then it would continue on to your destination. It's a very handy feature. I missed it for some time, and I'm glad to see that Google Maps is finally adding it to their at least to the iOS version as well. So this is very nice, and again, it starts out today.
All right, I know I stopped paying attention there for like 2 seconds, but weren't you just talking about meatballs?
No, I teased it. I said this is I wouldn't have time to get into that story. I want to do
we have plenty of time to get into the story.
All right, well you take it.
All right, so the next story is about meatballs, and it's lab-grown beef will save the planet and be $1 billion business, as we all hope. So yeah, on January 31st, the team took a young biotech startup gathered around what may be the world's most expensive meatball and got ready to take a bite of their product. A real edible beef from a lab, not a cow, for the first time. And at $18,000 a pound, the meat produced by the Memphis Meats probably won't be on your table anytime soon, but in a few years, hey, it's a new world. So The startup and its investors watched as a professional chef rolled the meatball, preparing it with quote-unquote traditional Italian seasoning, and then dropped it in a saute pan to sizzle. The company's first choice from an independent taster canceled at the last minute. So Stephanie, a friend of an employee, stepped in because, I feel like anyone could be a professional taster, but who knows? And they even videotaped it. It's up on YouTube, by the way. The world's first cultured meatball, Memphis Meats, if you want to go see the video. But yeah, and so Stephanie is shown gamely poking the meatball, then takes a bite. Tastes like meat. It's a meatball. Looking a bit confused as if she might have missed the big reveal. And she asks, "Can I have more?" Of course, at $18,000 a pound, more is in the works, to say the least. So yeah, and yeah, so they said that while the number of people on Earth who have eaten meat grown entirely in the lab is probably in the low double digits, there are several companies and nonprofits trying to solve the problem of humankind's urge for meat. A lot of big name investors are eyeing lab-grown meat or cultured meat, as it's referred to in the field, not just as a solution for humankind's biggest problems, but also as a profitable business.
Well,
because let's face it, if you can provide people, something that looks, tastes, acts, and cooks, and does everything just like ground beef for a fraction of the price, and and you could produce it for a fraction of the cost, that's going to be a pretty good business compared to traditionally grown meat.
No, and again, a lot of people who are so-called vegetarians are that way because not necessarily for the health reasons. I mean, certainly that, but a lot of them just do it because of ethical reasons. People don't want to eat, animals who've been slaughtered for it. So if they can come up with a viable alternative where you provide this kind of meat where no animals were harmed in the making of that meat, I sound like the film industry now, that. Then they and one of them. One of the founders who was a vegetarian for years, he said, I really miss this. He actually started eating it again because there was that. And what about people in India? The sacred cow, they can't eat that. This would allow people in all venues to eat meat. If the objection is, because we don't want to eat want animals slaughtered for our food.
Right, and again, it really takes that ethical question off the table. But then you then you deal with the purists argument, where it's saying that it will never taste like beef, it will never taste like a T-bone, it will never taste like a sirloin, it will never taste like prime rib, and if it never does any of these things just as well, then I'm probably not going to eat it. But again, this is the beginning of an industry, and this article from Newsweek is a very, very well written article, but it's if you can get this cultured meat to one day be loaded into a 3D printer, and you could print a steak with the texture of a T-bone, of a ribeye, of a sirloin, of a of an anything you wanted. If it looks like meat and it tasted like meat and it cut like meat and it cooked like meat, then it's hard to see why anyone would grow beef the old way.
Yeah, well, no, you make a point. Of course, hamburger is going to be the first one because hamburger is obviously the easiest thing to make of all of them because you don't have to have the.
Because let's face it, most of you who eat hamburger don't even really know what's in it in the first place.
Right, and you don't have to put the marbling and all that stuff and make it look like it's an actual steak. It's easy. It's just ground beef, and that's the easiest to replicate. They'll start off with ground beef, and then as they continue to perfect the technology. Then they'll move to the more solid meats, but for now, it's still $18,000 a pound, and it's going to be a while before we see this. But I'm encouraged to see it because I don't want to have animals slaughtered for food. I mean, we have to, but it certainly would. It takes it off the table. That's going to be really good. But again, it's almost like the garbage conundrum that you mentioned earlier. People are going to lose jobs. No more slaughterhouses. It's all going to be done in labs.
Right, and the article goes into some of the struggles that they're struggling with because right now they have a quote here saying that that lab-grown meat is a very sexy subject, but most of meat has made huge strides since the demonstration just 2.5 years ago. Tasters at the time praised the burger's mouthfeel, but noted it lacked a real meaty taste. That's because it was all grown with 25,000 individual small muscle fibers, and each of these fibers was made from hand in an individual petri dish. So, according to Verstrate, the meat had no fat and none of the metallic blood taste that normally mask a burger.
Mhm.
So most of meat's newer products have, as I said, addressed these gustatory issues. So it as much as you like to think, oh, it's just the muscles that we're eating, it's everything that goes into a cow. To make a living organism, that when you eat a burger, when you taste that that natural meat, you say, oh, that's just meat. But there's a lot that goes into a living organism to make it taste the way it does.
Mhm.
So, getting all, tweaking it, getting it all just right, getting the texture right, getting the taste right, getting every little detail right, that's going to take a couple years. But, this article points out correctly, and I'm going to side with them, that it's just a matter of time before this becomes a really, really big industry.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm all for it, and certainly it looks like it's like 5 or 7 years away. But I think obviously they're on the right track, and there's an
I mean,
incredible.
if they can come out with a product that's, more humane because you're not killing cows, if they can come out with a product that tastes the same, maybe even better, because hey, if they can get it to taste like the best piece of ground, if they can get it to taste like the best piece of meat from the cow every single time,
Mhm.
even better. And if they can get it out there cheaper, because you don't have to raise the cow from infancy and raise it and hold it and all that kind of stuff, pump it full of hormones to get it to grow faster. If you can get it to market even cheaper, if it's better, cheaper, and faster, hey, that is everything. That's all you need for a better product.
Yep, exactly.
No one's going to argue against it.
No one. No, there's no, not at all. Except maybe the cattle industry, the cattle barons, we'll say.
90 seconds.
Hey, we're pretty much out of time here. We didn't get to a lot of the stories here that we had on the table, so to speak, but we will get to them hopefully tomorrow. We have the entire week to get to them. But coming up on tomorrow's show, we're going to have Zero is going to be on the show. ZIR in the first hour. They make the Zero user interface for to create the first of its kind technology that lets
60
people to
seconds.
control robots with their hands. That's cool. Controlling robots with your hands. Very cool technology. And then in the second hour, of course, we'll continue to have more computer and technology news. Brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Again, thanks to Nelson Hudas, public relations specialist for netTALK, telling us about voice over IP. And again, remember to check them out at nettalk.com. So that about wraps it up. Thank you all so much for being here. And Ben and I will see you here, same time, same place. So until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody, again, thanks for watching, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.